That was my vision for National RIA. It's bringing the groups together and sharing of ideas.
Whatever problem I have, 8 or 10 groups has already solved that problem, so why don't I learn the solution from them?
A key aspect of going forward is to make sure that we really go back to our roots.
The 1970s, leisure suits and gas shortages, disco music and the end of the Vietnam War, a resigning president, and a real estate market going wild. FHA and VA loans were in their heyday. While interest rates were high, there were great tax incentives, and anyone with rehabbing skills and a knack for creative financing could do very well in real estate. Real estate seminars proliferated, and the seeds of real estate associations were sown.
The classes really opened up my eyes. They gave me the foundation. But by being with other members, and we started batting around and asking each other questions, and some people had the answers, some people didn't, I found that the association of being around other like-minded individuals having the same issues, the same problems, some who've solved it, and like me, and some are just learning, we learned from each other.
By the mid-1980s, Ronald Reagan was president and the modern internet was born. Various real estate groups could be found in most major cities, and yet there was little communication among them, and their methodologies varied greatly. Tom Hennigan imagined more.
We started off as a National Leadership Congress, and it was my Social Security number, my credit card processing, what have you. It's all in my tax return. Because New Orleans RIA didn't want to go that far, and nobody wanted to put their money up, but my wife and I were all for it. And so we did a mass communication mailing from New Orleans and said, October the 17th, National Leadership Congress. If you're a club leader for a Real Estate Investment Association, please join us so we can share ideas. And we were off. 10 people showed up.
The mission has been consistent, teaching leaders to lead, teaching investors best practices, creating opportunities for networking, and using association buying power for discounted products and services for our members.
The focus of the RIA group, and I think what really sells it, I think of it as a three-legged stool. You got your benefits that you can offer to your members that they couldn't get individually, and education that would be hard to get unless you're just going all over the country picking it up or reading books or whatever. But the other one I think is one of the most important things is the networking. Because without networking with others, you're just not going to get the full benefit, not even close to the benefits that you should be getting out of a RIA.
Through this period of the early 80s, the RIA groups were all about networking. They're about bringing people in and sharing each other's ideas and picking each other's brain and sharing who's a good plumber, who's a good electrician, and just helping each other. That's what the RIA groups was all about.
The National Leadership Conference became an annual event, growing in numbers and expertise each year. It was soon held annually on a cruise ship, and new events like mid-year and the technology conferences were added to further benefit RIA members.
The people they had, even though they were not full-time, were dedicated full-time, and when the meetings took place, the cruises, the mid-year, the tech meetings, they were all first class.
By now we had 125 club leaders in the room, representing who knows how many thousands of members around the country.
After a final name change in the 1990s, the National Real Estate Investors Association took flight.
So I made the motion that they rename it. We had a couple of Texans on the board who set up the National RIA, National Real Estate Investors Association, as a Texas corporation and filed for nonprofit status.
As we well remember, the financial meltdown of 2008 was particularly devastating to the world of real estate and real estate investing. Millions of mortgages were underwater, prices were spiraling downward, and access to capital became almost impossible. Fortunately for National RIA, we had a leadership team in place to face this incredible challenge.
Coming in as the new president during the meltdown, of the financial meltdown that we had that had caused the reduction of not only members of National RIA, but members of the local RIAs was causing it. And as it began to gain speed and we made the turnaround and with the decisions that were made, that we had to decide that we had to be managed differently.
RIA's been working on best management practices for several years now, and that is exactly what is needed. In fact, that's actually one of the things that's looked at as a value add for people who are joining and as member outreach. If you don't have a best management practice, why would I want to participate?
Since then, National RIA has grown in size and scope, offering new programs and services, partnering with companies like Home Depot and Sherwin-Williams, becoming influential in local, state, and national politics, and enhancing member opportunities to learn and network. As we celebrate 30 years of success, we continue to look forward to a more prosperous future for National RIA to promote, protect, and educate all its members.
I like being around positive people, and that's what the RIAs are all about.